I watched that last 30-minute video a couple of times. I noticed that I still have some emotional regulation that I could do. I like to be just pleasant all the time, and there's some pleasant moments in the video. I definitely, it's funny. I go, good morning, and it's kind of a reset, and it's like, oh yeah, it is. It's a good morning. It's like grand rising, right? But then when I talking about things that are important that I'm excited about that feel wrong, then I can get a little worked up, and then that could be intimidating or off-putting. And yeah, it's strange, hey? Like it's not that I'm just not responsible for my own behavior. I'm actually responsible for other people's behavior. It's like radical accountability. I don't know if I coined that phrase. I've heard it around since I started saying it. I might have heard it from somewhere, but radical accountability, it's paradoxically makes life more challenging and yet more manageable, right? Like when you're like, oh, I can do something about that. I can do something about that. I don't know what it is yet. I don't know if I'm gonna do it right. I'm a big fan of fuck around, find out. There's a lot of things that I've done and then learned that that's the wrong way of doing it. I did a thing and then it didn't work. And I did a thing and it didn't work. And a phrase that I had, a saying that I had was, if I didn't do it yet, then I haven't done it wrong either, Well, I don't want to do it wrong, so I'm just not going to do it. That reminds me of another thought I had where, like as a boy, as a white person with a penis, I get blamed for a lot of things. It's a bit part of the zeitgeist. Toxic masculinity and male oppression and white oppression, and like I've been villainized most of my life. Most of my life I was the problem. I'm the problem, right? I've been told that. And I don't think I'm the only person that feels this way. I don't think I'm the only person that's been had blame and shame put on them. I mean, it's part of Christianity. You were born in sin. And only through belief in our system will you be absolved of your sin. I mean, that's toxic shit, right? We can't get too far off the topic. What I was thinking was, it felt like I couldn't do anything right. Like no matter what I did, I was doing it wrong. I was harming somebody. It's actually kind of difficult to find a good job that's only helping. It's not true. There's lots of great work that you can do. But there's usually a consequence. There's usually a cost. There's a little bit of, break the eggs to make the omelet. So I ended up just, going and hanging out down by the river and socializing and just, smoking weed and chatting. And people got resentful of that. Like, this guy isn't even doing anything. And it's like, well, I was trying to do stuff and I got in trouble for that. So then I stopped doing stuff so I wouldn't get in trouble. Now I'm getting in trouble for not doing stuff. So you can't really win for some people. If somebody wants to make you the bad guy, they're going to do it. They're going to find a way. There's, I don't know what to say. Radical accountability is the exact opposite of what's going on with transition houses and victim services. Victim services is, you didn't do anything wrong. There's no possible way that you're the problem. Run away, and that'll solve your problem. You have a problem. It's somebody else's doing. The only thing you can do is leave. We'll help you leave. 7 years later, there's still the problem. It's worse, right? It's like it's worse. Like running away, you can't run away. The world's a globe. You can't go anywhere. We're stuck here. You can't run away. You can't really swipe left. I mean, you can't. You put somebody on block, they're still on a list in your phone. You're still giving them energy. The difference between love and hate, the difference between love and hate is almost nothing. It's still passion. It's still care. It's still interest. It's still emotional attachment. Worse than hate would be like apathy, not giving a shit. That's kind of closer to the opposite of fear or love. But fear is actually much closer to the opposite of love. Love and fear. Hate's different than fear. But fear, right? If you Miyamoto put 2 jars of rice in the window and sung to 1 jar of rice, told her how lovely it was. It was his favorite rice ever. And then he went to the other jar of rice and said, "You're a piece of shit. You're fucking useless. You're never going to amount to anything. You're taking up valuable resources from others." Like, really hated on the other rice. And within a very short amount of time, the loved rice like improved in quality, and the hated rice got black and moldy and repulsive. And the term is thought forms. Like, your emotions inform your thoughts, and your thoughts inform your words, and your words create your reality. You don't have to be a mystic to get that. So if you have somebody in your life that's talking shit about somebody, you get the choice of condoning that. Oh yeah, I love it when you talk shit, or stopping it. And like, you want to get along. Oh man, I don't want to upset this person, so I'm just gonna let them vent. You're not helping them or you. What's worse than love is pity. I pity that person. That's toxic shit. Pity's gross. I mean, don't be worried about me. There's love. There's potential. There's opportunity. Don't be worried about yourself. There's duty. There's responsibility. You grew up in the public school system where you had to sit in your own little desk, and if you talked to your friends, you're disruptive. And if you asked for help, you're a cheater. Or if you collaborated with your teammates, you were cheating. We've got this corrupted concept of hyper individualism. I get to do me, so I'm just going to take care of myself. And so for my part, I'm not really doing enough for others. I'd like to be able, and it works. It really works. When my shit's overwhelming, it's gonna be the same overwhelming situation later. I might as well just use this present moment to help relieve the burdens of somebody else. And that works in a lot of ways. It gets me out of my problem, and I help somebody else. Now I feel better that I helped. Now they feel better that they're helped. Being of service to others is lovely. It's really a lot of fun. I personally am feeling challenged with being able to do that. I went and applied for search and rescue. I thought that would be a good thing. Hey, I'm sitting around not with my kid, and go try to save people. And then after a couple of outings, they told me I wasn't a qualified fit. And I said, "What's that about?" And they said, "Well, you're a little rough around the edges." I didn't realize till relatively recently that they're actually like CPR. Man, I told you this already. So CPR is like basic training. You're like, hey, I want to be helpful. You're a loving person. You're a kind, compassionate person. You want to take accountability and responsibility for your community. So you take the most basic training. Like, that doesn't get any easier. The first thing they teach you is CPR. And what do they tell you? They say, like, feel for a pulse, feel it at different places. Your wrist, there's a place on your ankle. And if you don't see their chest moving, maybe because they're wearing a lot of clothing, or maybe because they have really shallow breathing, and you don't feel a pulse, and maybe that's because they have, thick skin or a low blood pressure. There's a bunch of reasons why you could still be alive, but not showing a pulse to a very unqualified person. Like, all you know is CPR. That's all you know. They haven't given you, like, how blood systems work and how consciousness works. Like, they didn't teach you everything. They just taught you, if you can't feel a pulse, do CPR. And what's the wording they use? They say, well, it's hummingbird speed. Staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive. Nobody breathes that fast. You're pushing on their chest, on their lungs. You're pushing their lungs, and the lungs pump the blood, something like that. You don't know all the details. You're pushing on the guy's chest so hard, so fast, that you're literally being encouraged. If you're not breaking ribs, you're not hitting them hard enough. They're unconscious. They're barely alive. They're managing. Human potential is amazing. Humans are capable of amazing things. Sometimes intervention's important. You're jumping up and down on their chest at 200 pounds or whatever it is, breaking their ribs, and they're unconscious and just trying to catch a breath. You're murdering people. You're like, hey, that guy's alive. No, I gotta get him alive. I gotta wait for his breath to come. And it's like every 30 seconds of it, and then check, listen. Oh, nothing. Okay, keep going. And it's like, and that switch off, that check to listen, is only supposed to be like 3 seconds or something, right? They're killing people. Maybe they were already dead, and this might work. That's what they say. They say, well, they're already dead. We're just trying to get them back to life. We'll deal with the broken ribs later. That made sense to me when I learned that. It checked out. But everybody's got a cell phone in their pocket. You could put a defibrillator in someone's pocket. It's really easy. You just get a nice big battery, and you put a high voltage transformer in it, and then you has a little one single paddle. It's so easy to make a defib unit that you could just carry in your pocket. It'd be smaller than an naloxone kit. You could have every first responder to have one for cheap, for the amount of money that they're spending on all the rest of the stuff. I don't know the math. I don't know the science on a defib. That part is beyond me. I don't like to talk about things I don't know about. What I do know is that CPR is much more likely to harm than heal. And that might be part of the reason why I was like taking off this KSAR team. And the other reason being that there are people in the KSAR community that were concerned about me and worried about me. Oh, there's this Drew guy. I don't know about him. I heard shitty things about him. You heard shitty things about me from people who are getting profit from saying shitty things about me. Because you can't take a kid away unless there's a legitimate reason. So you'll have to say a bunch of terrible things about the guy in order for the child abduction to be legitimized. And then we won't even really get verification on any of these allegations. It's just, well, it's a lot of allegations. So even if one or two of them, it's like throwing shit on a fan to see what sticks. And now there's shit everywhere, and I'm in this shitty house that's got shit everywhere, and it's like, look, that guy's covered in shit. And it's like, who fucking threw it? Who's throwing all this shit? That goes back to the radical accountability, I guess. If someone's talking shit to you about someone, shut them up. They just shut up about throwing other people under the bus. That's not a service to the community. If you're going around propping people up and giving other people laudations and credit, oh, look at this was so cool, look at that, so cool. There's all kinds of cool shit. Like I'll do another video of just being really kind. Man, it's hard to do. It's hard to be kind. It's cool to be kind. If anybody thinks that Israel is doing the right thing, like, man, Israel, they're really keeping capitalism and freedom and democracy, a bastion of freedom and democracy in the Middle East, full of heathens. How come all the Muslims are? I mean, they're not Muslims. They're Sikhs and they're Buddhists. The people that are coming to Canada. Canada was born on immigration. It works only because of immigration. Modern economics, aka capitalism, works based on an infinite growth model, and the universe does have infinite resources in its own way. But when you need to turn a profit at the expense of employees and customers, we saw that, right? Dodge sued Ford because Ford was paying more. They said, well, listen, I want the best car makers the world can offer me, and I'm willing to pay whatever it takes to get the best employees. And Dodge saw a threat there, right? They said, well, if they're buying all the best employees, then I'm going to have to start buying good employees, and I don't want to do that. I'd rather make profit. So they sued and won. So the judge agreed that a business isn't responsible to make good quality products that are fair price and pay their employees well. Their job is to make profit. And that's why socialism isn't the answer, because it's immoral, profit-driven, capitalism for capitalism's sake. How much resources can I extract? How much profiteering can I do? That's capitalism. It's like, can I take someone's water, poison their supply, and then filter it and sell it back to them? Yep. Okay. Is that legit? Yep. Okay. So they're poisoning your water and then selling it back to you, and that's capitalism. And then you add a food hub at the bottom of that, and now we have socialism, and now it's okay. I don't think that's how that works. Like, you can't, like, in order to tan a hide, you need the brains of the animal. But if you call an animal, you have to send the skulls to SIFA, the food inspection. The whole thing's a scam. I'm just here to talk about a child abduction. No, I'm here to build a beautiful, loving civilization. It's remembering a civilization that's older than Canada. We gotta remember, Canada's 150 years old. Israel's 70 years old. It took 70 years before people were like, oh, fuck, that's a genocide. 70 years of keeping that under the rug. Canada's a bigger place. We're more spaced out. Palestine legitimately has always had people there for, since the beginning. There's always been people there. And they put them in fucking pens. and they starve them, and they dehydrate them, and they torture them. And then when they respond, they get called terrorists. And there's actual people on my Facebook that actually think that Hamas is a terrorist organization and not radicalized response to unreasonable situations. Right? But Canada's such a big place. There's so many little towns, and it's so isolated, and everybody's so individualized. And even in a big city, there's so many streets, you never see each other. Everybody's in their own cars. There's an individual in each. A car is 20 feet long and 6.5 feet wide. It's a large vehicle. It's a large space to hide individuals in. So we can't see it. So luckily for me, I found this beautiful, amazing place called Caslo, inhabited by some absolutely lovely kindred souls. Like we are onto something. We know what's going on. It's a beautiful little place, but there's only like 2 streets. You stand at the street corner and you can watch the whole town do their business. And that's why Drew Miller is uniquely qualified to talk about the child abduction ring that is Canada. This isn't about Isolde necessarily. I mean, clearly it is for me, but it's systemic, and it was very easy for me to see because I was in the trenches. I was down in Texas living at this music ranch. It was just outside of Austin. Take a bus or a hitchhike and go into Austin. Beautiful little, it's like Nelson of the South. If you haven't been to Austin, Texas, go during like South by Southwest or something. Like it's a cute little, it's amazing little town. It's lovely. It's friendly. It's the capital of Texas. Austin's really cool. Anyway, so I was living at this ranch. It was kind of off grid. I don't think they had much in terms of power, and they didn't have any water, and they were using porta potties, and it wasn't exactly a glamorous ranch. And there was these dudes living in tents, and every morning they'd go off to work. They'd go work a job and then come back and live in this tent without any water or power. What are you guys doing? Well, we got kids. Okay. Yeah, no. So every month I send most of my check off to them, and so I don't have anything left to pay for rent. So I live in this tent. And he's been doing it for 20 years or whatever. I go, fuck, that's sad, man. I'm sorry to hear that. And that's as far as I got with it. So, I mean, I know where you're coming from watching these videos. Man, that sucks for you, bro. Until it happened to me. I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit, this is a real thing. And so now, if I talk about me, that I'm being selfish. Hey, my kid was stolen, I'm being selfish. Hey, other people's kids are being stolen. Yeah, but you don't have experience. Let the professionals deal with it. How long does it go on for? Because it's been happening in North America. It's Britain. If you know anything about British society, it's quite doing the same thing. The fathers' rights movements has actually been heavily spearheaded in England. The U.S., has economies of scale. They have much more freedom as an ethos, a little bit more accountability as an ethos. They actually did have a tea party and whatnot. Whereas Canada is fully a dominion of the British Empire. Like it's Guam. Like Canada is like Puerto Rico, right? We're kind of just a resource farm. And the slaves that run the resource farm and their products of their labor are farmed, right? Like you can do cool shit. Like you can just think about the legitimized concentration camps, internment camps that we call prisons, like the for-profit prison systems where they like arrest people for drinking or smoking to self-medicate the horrendous living conditions they live in. They get called a criminal, they get put in jail, and then in order to get released early or better treatment, they have to make license plates or dig ditches. Like if you're digging ditches and it's keeping people safe, then that's a worthy goal. Read Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. You can have a worthy goal. I'm actually jealous of the people that went to Dachau. Like everyone dies. Like you're gonna die, and it's likely that you're gonna die in pain. Or you don't want to talk about the MAID system, the medical assistance in dying, because there's different types of drugs, right? Some are paralytic; they just make it so you can't move, and some are analgesic; they'll make it so you don't feel pain, and some, like cyanide, like that'll burst your lungs and you'll drown. So, like, if you wanted to put yourself out of your misery, you'd just swallow a bullet. Like or farmers do, you slit the duck's neck. It's kind of painful for the cutting, and it's kind of terrifying for the letting. But it's over in a second. Medical assisting in dying It takes anywhere from half an hour to a day. And you die by drowning. That's the autopsies are saying that they're gurgling on their own fluids and drowning. But they're paralyzed. They're not able to respond. They're not able to shout in fear and pain. And we're not saying, we don't know for sure if their pain has been relieved. Are they feeling it? They're alive, they're unable to respond, and they are suffocating, they're drowning. But we don't know if they're feeling that or what they're feeling. And they're not around to tell us. You are going to die. Memento mori. So what are we doing until then? Are we living in fear? I was telling you how I was jealous of the people in the concentration camps because they were together. Because there was a bed with 12 people in it. And maybe one of them snores, and maybe one of them kicks, maybe one hogs the blankets. But they laughed. They genuinely cared about each other and had each other's backs. And they shared. And they had stories. And they had music. And then they figured out how to take that from us too. If the bad guys won World War II, if the people who did the bad won, do you think they would go and tell their tax farm slaves that they were the bad guys? Yeah, we're the bad guys and we won. They wouldn't. I don't think they would frame it that way, right? Like you believe that Canada is a good place because you're free to get in your car and fill it up with fuel and buy new winter tires and drive to work and sit under fluorescent lights in a concrete room, listening to air compressors and ringing through cash receipts and paying your Netflix. And like you think you live in a free and loving society, but what's the evidence of that? Because when they finally give your kid back to you at the end of your shift, where you're working towards a goal that's probably not in your best interest, I don't know. Maybe you are. Maybe you love what you do. I hope you do. I hope the job that you're doing makes you feel good, where you sleep at night and you go, fuck, that was a good day. I know I helped people. That's important. You should do that. I'm not convinced that Canada is not the same as Israel. I think it's very similar. I think the ostriches prove that. And our response to that culling proved how brainwashed we are. Those were rare, unique, exotic birds. None of them were saved. All of them were healthy. That was bad. That was bad. Mandatory vaccines. If I need to get vaccinated for your vaccine to work, then you need to think about the logistics of what we're talking about. But you went to public school, so you don't actually have the ability to think anymore. You don't. Your creativity was beaten out of you. I gotta go be creative with the rest of my day. I'm gonna see if I can demonetize these videos so you don't have to watch commercials. Because I'm not interested in making money off of this. It's not about the money. What's it about? What's it about? Duty, honor, integrity, respect, love, capacity, bravery. Did you know that you can't be brave unless you feel fear? Did you know that? Did you know you can't be brave? So when you go to the cenotaph and they say, let their bravery be an example, and then you just stay quiet and just let child abduction continue. I don't know if that's honoring the fallen. It's honoring the fallen. And you don't understand. Like, Remembrance Day is a solemn day for me. I was, as a kid, I was like, what the fuck? It's important. But it's been corrupted. Like Christmas, like you have the shortest day of the year, and you were celebrating the returning of the light, the birth of the sun. The birth of the sun. The sun is coming back up into the sky. It's the birth of the sun. We call it Baby Jesus Day. And we celebrate it by going into debt. Like, there's a corruption that happened, right? So if I'm saying, hey, Christmas is a scam, it's not because I hate humans. It's because Christmas is a scam. There's lots about Christmas that's not a scam. When you gather together for a meal, like, you shouldn't have to wait till the end of the year to do that. And you decorate your house all nice with lights and living things, and you shouldn't have to wait for a special occasion to do that either. There's a spider behind me. You know what they did wrong? They let me see my kid. They should have just taken the kid right out of the crib and never let me see her. You know what they did was they let us spend time together. And now my kid knows there's a somatic experience. She knows that when she's not with me and others are making her think about me, she's stressed and annoyed and frustrated and scared. But when she's with me, she's loved and supported and enabled. And that spider is an example of that. For generations, people have been scared of spiders. Like, oh man, there's a fucking spider. And they run away and they squish it and they scream and they demand that the husband destroy the spider. And so my daughter was like, oh my God, it's a spider. I'm scared. I said, no, it's my friend. We're buddies. And I pick him up and I pet him. And then she went to school and she showed her friends how cool spiders are. And now there's a whole generation of children in Kaslo who love spiders. And that's not something they learn through community services. So call me unhinged, call me angry, but I don't know what you want to call me. The point is that you need to hate me in order to legitimize the child abduction. Now you can just hope I go away and then you don't have to think about me anymore. The whole town's got me on their lips, hey? Or you could be doing something else with your life. But first we got to get these kids back. Man, I gotta work for a living. I can't have my kid at home. They're better off to have him in school. Well, I don't even know how to raise, I don't even know, I don't know how to teach a kid how to reading, writing, and arithmetic. Well, if you don't know how to do that, then the school system failed you too, right? Like, if we're not creating a system where humans are self-perpetualizing, that just makes sense, right? Like, if I give you enough tools that you can go create stuff and then you can build your own mini empires, I would be on, it's like a pyramid scheme. If I taught you all of your skills and if I gave you a ton of resources and helped you to be amazing, that's a win for me. My life is better because you can do awesome things, and then you can make people that do awesome things too. It's a win. Now there's a whole bunch of people that are doing awesome things, and I just happen to be around it. I get to be surrounded by awesome people doing awesome things. Fuck. How could I do better than that? But if I take things from you and gatekeep and resource withhold and say, only one person at a time and only so many resources, if you're trying to put scarcity on things, you have to wait for your appointment. Think about when you call into a call center, whatever it is, they rip you off on your cell phone bill and you call in and it takes 8 minutes to see a person. Do you think that was not on purpose? They stole those 8 minutes from you. They say, well, you want to bitch about me stealing from you? Here's 8 minutes. You're never going to get back. I'm going to make you listen to shit music. It's all the same thing. It's all scam. It's all a fucking scam. So anyway, I'm just not like I haven't been on the CRA website in years because like I keep trying and it's a fucking scam. Two factor authentication. That's not anything other than to say if you're not paying a cell phone bill, then you're not a legitimate human. You better be paying us. It's protectionism. It's worse than capitalism. It's protectionism. It's capitalism with safety for the monopolies, right? Like ICBC, there's no way that that's good for humans. There's no way that that's a reasonable thing. There's no way. ICBC is absolutely a scam. So you got one monopoly on force. There's one organized crime or organized gang that's allowed to walk around with weapons and pick people up off the streets. It's a monopoly. There's no way that that's a free country. That's not how that works, man. I don't know how this is ever going to work out because there's always going to be like you get stuck in your mode, right? You get stuck in your. I just want to do cool shit, man. I gotta get up and do this all by myself before it gets dark again. Okay, bye. I don't know. Taxation's theft. It is. If it's not consensual, I snow plowing. Yeah. No. I can do my own snow plow. It's good. And then you don't, and then there's a problem. And it's like I'm just going up and down the street clearing everybody's street. Everybody give me a buck. And I can't afford the buck. I got $5. Like I I I've done the experiment. I think what happens is if you allow people to donate, they give more than if you just charge them a fee. I think it's important that we stop doing things under duress and under force. Right? Well, I gotta bring my kid to school or I get in trouble. Like that's, you know, if you're bringing kids to school because and there's an option, there's like more than one school that they can choose from, and they are competing. There's a healthy competition to see who's got I got athletics, I got art, I got academics. Like if there's proper competition, then that's good. I mean, capitalism under competition makes a lot more sense. And not like playing chess where you just like are using your brain to harm your friend, and then at the end of the day, nothing got done. All the pieces go back in the box. Like that's stupid. Chess is fucking stupid. I get that you like want your brain to work. You want to challenge yourself and pit yourself against someone you respect and admire. That part's okay, but you just spent your time and energy harming, destroying things, and then you just put it all back in the box. It's such a stupid fucking game. Where am I at? What am I talking about? Like, be about something, right? Just run on that hamster wheel until you die. It's, you're gonna die, so at least share a song with your friends. I'm gonna write a happy song. I'm gonna try it. Okay, bye.